Hello everyone and welcome back, hope you're having a great day and we're all doing well. We finally have the brand new animated cinematic for Operation Deep Freeze, in which we get to see the brand new operator Tubarão, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, and Thunderbird infiltrating Deimos' lair. We're gonna let this cinematic play out and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Tubarão, come in. Are you still tailing Deimos' men from the Heartbreaker?
Affirmative. And you'll never guess where I am. Thunderbird, they have hostages.
I'm a few minutes out.
We don't have time. They don't have time.
Go. I'm on my way.
I was too late. We have to stop Deimos.
Well, now we know where he's going next.
Emerald Plains.
So a pretty interesting cinematic. Of course, a big thing to take from this is the fact that we do get to see the brand new Defender in action. And as well as this, it's nice to see Thunderbird as well. And if you're not aware, both of these operators are part of Wolfguard, the humanitarian squad led by Captain Doc. Now, for starters, we know that these two operators are currently in Portugal, since in the last comic book, we learned that Wolfguard have a squad deployed here, and this is seemingly their squad. But it seems to be only two operators, Thunderbird and Tubarão. And the first thing we learn here is that Tubarão has been following Deimos' men from the Heartbreaker. The Heartbreaker is the freight ship in which the helicopter which attacked Tower launched from. Solis was able to find this information from the black box on that helicopter. This eventually led Wolfguard into tracking the ship and seemingly following the men back from it to Deimos' lair. And this is when we get our first ever look at Tubarão, and I think he looks absolutely sick. Now, once Tubarão gets out of the water, he realizes that there are some hostages being held by someone who sort of looks a bit like Deimos, but seemingly isn't. And I have a theory for this, and I'll talk about it later in this video. Tubarão relays the information to Thunderbird that they have hostages, and he is going to make contact. Thunderbird, at this current point in time, is still a few minutes out, she says. We then get to see Tubarão in action taking out one of Deimos' men, and then he pulls out his gadget, the Zoto canister. After hearing a gunshot go off, he throws this canister at the roof above him, in which Deimos' men is standing on in the room above. We then get to see that this canister will reveal the footsteps of people on the other side of the surface. The current point of upload, we haven't seen gameplay of Tubarão yet. It's going to come later today as the time I'm recording this, but this also gives us a little hint at what he's going to be like in gameplay. Of course, if you're watching this video after Tubarão is out, then you probably know this. And that is when Tubarão starts to take out these enemies, including this masked figure who sort of looks like Deimos but isn't, and has quite an interesting design to their mask. Again, I'm going to get into this theory in a minute. Tubarão successfully eliminates Deimos' men, however, when he gets up, he realizes it's too late. All the hostages are dead. He takes his hat off as a sign of respect for the fallen, and that is when Thunderbird enters the building. He then exclaims that they must take down Deimos, and that is when Thunderbird steps in, looking at a board, saying that they now know where Deimos is going next. Emerald Plains. And we cut to this board. This is the same board which is on the map Lair. We saw this in the trailer for the map. Not gonna lie, kinda wish they didn't show that in the trailer because it sort of removed its effect from the cinematic, because going into this I knew Emerald Plains was going to be attacked. So kinda wish they never showed it off before. That being said, the board looks exactly the same as the one we broke down. I done a video the other day breaking down this board, but I'll do a little bit here, not as in depth. But yes, you can see Emerald Plains. Of course, at the bottom right, you have Fenrir as well as one of his dread mines, meaning that Fenrir is a target for Deimos. Of course, Fenrir did work for Deimos, then defected, told Rainbow, listen, Deimos used me. I didn't know this what was up to. He's trying to use my work for bad. Let me help you guys. Let's stop him together. As well as this, we can see Harry on the left, of course, crossed out because he has been eliminated. There's also a link to Sam Fisher, implying that he's a target as well. And just like how I said in the other video, there is a few mysterious people on this board. Firstly, you have this guy with some files in his arm wearing a suit with a red circle around him, and we don't know who this man is. Could this be the new Six? I saw people maybe, questioning that. Is this someone who's sort of stepping in from maybe like the UN or something to like maybe put Rainbow down a bit and be, listen, this has become bigger than you guys. There needs to be some control here, because it feels like no one is really governing Rainbow right now, which I know that's sort of the point. But after last season, when there was an attack in Seoul in South Korea where civilians were potentially most likely injured or even killed, then I imagine that people are going to start stepping in. Because the other skirmishes with Deimos before have been, off the grid. It was in like a warehouse, or it was on a plane over just, desolate areas. There was no one there. The only people who were kind of being affected were Deimos's men in Rainbow. However, when it comes to Tower, that's in the middle of a city. That would have been broadcasted worldwide. There would have been civilians everywhere. It was much more of a T attack than the other ones were. So I imagine Rainbow is definitely going to have a little bit more interference from other government bodies than they probably did before. That may be why there's politicians by the looks of it at the bottom as well. You can also see Emerald Plains on the board. Of course, he is targeting it. And at the top left, we get to see Operation Procedures for Keres, which is the name of Deimos' organization. And with that, that is the end of the cinematic. Now, I want to jump back to that one mask figure, because again, I have a theory for who this could possibly be, and sort of what their ranking is alongside Deimos. And if you're watching this in the future, when Deimos' identity is revealed, I could be so far off here, and this is sort of like a theory in a theory, but if you've seen my lore videos before, it's no secret that I believe that Deimos is a man by the name of James Wolfe. James Wolfe is from the cancelled game Rainbow Six Patriots. He was the director of Rainbow, also known as Six, in that game. Patriots was the Rainbow Six game that was meant to come out until it was completely scrapped and Siege was made instead. However, we did learn some information about Rainbow Six Patriots' story, because it was meant to be a narrative-driven game like previous Rainbow Six games. And what we do know is at the beginning of Siege's lore, Rainbow was reactivated, meaning that before this, something happened to Rainbow to deactivate it. There is a space in Rainbow Six timeline where we don't know what happened between Rainbow Six Vegas 2 and Rainbow Six Siege, where Rainbow Six Patriots would, in universe, technically have taken place. But since the game was cancelled, surely the story isn't canon. Well, because of a crossover mission in Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is canon to Rainbow Six lore, Valkyrie and Nomad, the character from Ghost Recon Wildlands, not the Nomad from Siege, are talking about Operation Patriot. This somewhat confirms that what happened in Rainbow Six Patriots, despite being a cancelled game, did take place in universe. And now Rainbow Six Patriots didn't make it that far into development as far as I'm aware. However, we do know some bits about the story. For starters, like I was saying, the director of Rainbow during this game was meant to be a man by the name of James Wolfe. And as well as this, in this game, you had the Echo Squad alongside the main protagonist you would play as, Echo Leader. So let's take a look at the facts. Deimos is an ex-Rainbow operative, could even be director, and judging by the fact that Rainbow was deactivated before Siege, could mean that him and his squad were disgraced. It is said that James Wolfe believed that ethics were irrelevant when dealing with enemies, so maybe he overstepped and done something which disgraced Rainbow to the eyes of the world, causing it to be deactivated, and James Wolfe and the rest of the Echo Squad to be completely stripped of their titles and sort of lead them on this path to become villains, with James Wolfe becoming Deimos and the Echo team becoming these different mass figures working for Deimos, whose main goal now is to eradicate Rainbow. That would explain why Deimos, who would be the ex-director, is the leader of this group, and why he is so, strong, because James Wolfe is said to be ex-Navy SEAL, so that would explain the military training in which Deimos has. I mean, of course, we do know he is ex-Rainbow as well, and that means that one of these different mass figures is sort of one of the higher-ups in the Keres Organisation, and he was one of the Echo Team soldiers. Again, that's a theory inside of a theory. However, I do feel like the whole Rainbow Six Patriots, the Echo Team, James Wolfe being the ex-director, is the most probable explanation of of who Deimos and who these Keres Organisation members are, because that sort of makes Deimos like the Dark Rainbow. He's an ex-director, his squad is full of ex-operatives. It would be a pretty cool explanation. And if he isn't James Wolfe and these guys have nothing to do with Patriots, then I have absolutely no clue. I will say right now though, Deimos and they're not Domingo Chavez, okay? I just want people to know that it's not going to be a legacy R6 character which fans love. They're not going to make them a villain. It's not worth making these good characters which people grew up with villains, because people won't like that. So yes, I am still dying on this hill that Deimos is James Wolfe, and I feel like this masked figure we've seen in this cinematic is one of the higher ups who was part of this original squad when Deimos was the acting director of Rainbow. Again, just a theory. You might be watching this video in the future and I've been completely wrong and I've just been rambling on for the past 4 minutes. But that is the brand new cinematic for Operation Deep Freeze. We should be getting the bio and background for Tubarão tomorrow, so I'll be able to make a video about his backstory. And yeah, be sure to let me know your thoughts about this cinematic in the comment section below. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and stay tuned for more Rainbow Six lore content. Have a great day. Peace.